But this lady walks the walk all right. She walks it for the great state of Israel.
I expect that there would be a serious departure from this administration's policy if it were instead a Harris-Walz administration. How does she differ from the incumbent president?
She doesn't differ. She's made very clear that she is right alongside President Biden. She's been a part of those discussions, the negotiations.
I love
Kamala Harris supports making sure that we have a ceasefire deal that brings the hostages home, that ends the terrorist threat on Israel's doorstep, that ensures that we can get humanitarian assistance and relief to the Palestinians who are victimized by Hamas themselves, and also continuing the strong U.S. aid to Israel. She said very clearly she's not for an arms embargo. We have the strongest plank in the Democratic Party platform, strongest pro-Israel plank of any party
keep touting that,
so
baby.
This is, and listen,
keep touting that.
And just look, I put the perfect screen capture. She looks like she's about to jump out of her skin, literally. She is a demon as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you keep saying you are the most pro-Israel. Keep playing that. Keep playing to that audience.
Keep doing it. All you're doing is helping Trump tenfold because he can use this.
He just has to take one little teeny step, just not that far to the left, just a teeny little bit.
We totally have to end this war. It's a terrible war. Really terrible.
And
just
you all will be hung out to dry, and you will look like the warmongering corporate whore that you are.
Strongest pro-Israel plank of any party in decades.
Go, baby, go.
Fly, Icarus, fly.
Fly, Icarus, fly. Pigs get fat.
So
we have some plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's all you need to know about Debbie Wasserman Schultz and why things are the way they are here in South Florida.
Yeah.
So number one, our campaign did not get off to the start it needed to.
That's not where we start with this. The biggest point is 17% voter turnout in a primary.
There's also that factor.
That's why.
You need money
to get out the
and
vote.
You also need people to have the courage to stand up to her. And right now, you're not looking for a Trojan horse to do it, because a lot of people in this district, including somebody who ended up winning a seat, is a supporter of Jen, but would never say a word publicly, because Wasserman Schultz literally walks the walk when it comes to threats. She will literally threaten community organizers, taking away their ability. You got to say it 3 times.
No, don't. No.
I heard you talking about me.
Oh, so reluctantly. It's so unfortunate.
But that's the point. She will threaten community organizers with removal of their 501c3 status, so they have no way of making an income.
She's just a bully. But it's just, I am so glad that they are doubling down on this. It makes it so much easier to like get the message out that they are evil. They're evil.
Yes, we have a huge problem in this congressional district, particularly in areas that we really wanted to focus on that were in gated communities.
It isn't that, though.
It's part of it.
It's part of it. But the problem, the real issue for us was that she cleaned up in mail-in ballots. And by the time we got out and running based on a lot of different variables, mail-in ballots had almost it was so close to when mail-in ballots went out. Now she cleaned up like 90% from mail-in ballots.
We got her pretty good in early voting and election day.
So we actually beat her.
We got people out to the polls, but this is a vote by mail district.
Yeah.
And if it's ever going to happen again in the future, whoever that may be, this is you got to execute this strategy.
And we had a lot of impediment. There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of campaign variables.
But as I've said many times, in the way that these things happen, it's like, how did Maxwell Frost get into Congress? He got into Congress because the March for Our Lives group made it a point to get somebody in there. There was a galvanization behind somebody to get them in.
It can't be the candidate.
The candidate is the sword. The people are the shield. You have to recognize that it has to be a community that rises up and says, Wasserman Schultz will not represent us anymore.
But see, the problem is that our politics is so turned around that it's so top down. So in other words, somebody decides, I want that office. So now I'm going to go around and convince a whole bunch of people that I don't really know to vote for me, as opposed to somebody that is in the community that knows people, that comes from organizing. And that is what happened with Maxwell Frost.
Yeah.
That is how that happened. That is the organic way to do it. And the people here, it's like there isn't that enough of that push. But again, when you get such low voter turnout, but we did do better than her, that to me is promising for people to know, like, that we did perform better than her with early voting and on election day. And that mail-in ballots, which is like her bread and butter, was something that we couldn't really get ahead of.
But you also
based on our timing, we had some issues.
And you have to accept that money plays a role in this.
For sure.
We did not have enough to even get a TV ad up. We did get a TV ad up in 20, and that partially had to do with why the overall vote was better. That does matter. There are a lot of things that they have to go right. And unfortunately, in this case, yes, Catherine O'Hara is a funny actress. But yes, and I'm sorry to poison you with this.
It's so disgusting. She's so gross. She's like a lizard.
And the Republicans come nowhere near the commitments and the specificity in the Democratic Party platform that we have. Good. And that's because the Democratic Party is the one that has solidly and consistently stood with Israel, not just in words, but in actions.
Yes, please tell me how the Republican Party is not as pro-Israel as the Democratic Party.
I love it. Keep going to the right, baby. Keep going to the right. Keep pushing the people away, because they are so appealing to a very small group of people that it's just such an echo chamber.
You know, if you listen to the level of cheers, the volume of cheers between what happened at the RNC versus what happened at the DNC, I got to tell you, the cheers at the DNC were louder for Israel. This is why the whole boogeyman thing doesn't work like it does.
That we're not like Trump.
Trump is the greatest gift that the Democratic Party, in their mind, could have ever gotten, because they really think they have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. So,
and Trump is smart. He's letting them go to the right. He's standing back and letting them go to the right, and then he'll come in and go in whatever direction will make him look better. To more people.
Everybody is looking at Trump like, oh, he doesn't have this. He doesn't. Listen. He is a shrewd operator.
And he still has a few months, and he knows.
He doesn't need to do anything.
And he knows Kamala's going to implode. He knows it. He's known it. Please, she couldn't win a vote. There's a reason for that.
You actually put out a mass marketing movement today because a handful of old grandmas were holding up Harris signs in the villages, like 20 people. Oh, we're taking over Florida.
You are not taking over Florida.
Okay.
And by the way, it's the problem is the only people that you have that are going to really at the end of the day still be there are the people that were going to vote for Biden anyway, and he's not winning Florida. So you're just seriously wasting your time.